Session, the Honorable Marcel Fouché, Justice Presiding. Please be seated and come to order.
Good afternoon. These are proceedings in the matter of the City of San Jose against the City of Paris. Could we have appearances for the record, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Gerald Allman, representing the City of San Jose.
Afternoon. Good afternoon. Are there opening statements?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, today the plaintiff in the City of San Jose asserts his rightful claim to be recognized as the true source of inspiration for the Eiffel Tower in Paris. For over a century, the Eiffel Tower has stood as a monument to one man ego, Gustav Eiffel. He will prove that Eiffel's conception of the idea, indeed the very design he employed, was stolen and Jose, literally lifted from our street in the corner of Santa Clara and Market Street to be precise. There, in 1881, the vision of J.J. Owen, 34-year-old editor of the San Jose Mercury, literally lit up the sky. 237-foot tower was dedicated with a powerful electric light at the top designed to drive crime from the streets of San Jose and to drive the gas company out of business. Editorial in the San Jose Herald says, today San Jose may be more proud of her tower than Egypt of its Sphinx and obelisk, than Pisa of her leaning tower, England of her monuments of war, New York of her Cleopatra's Needle. These are monuments of pride raised by a proud and haughty aristocracy. This is a monument to progress and the diffusion of light in our midst. The fame of the tower spread far and wide. It was written about and talked about across the breadth of this nation, and we will prove that the fame of the San Jose Electric Tower spread to France. There in the city of Paris, 8 years later, in 1889, Mr. Eiffel built his flimsy imitation. A bit taller, perhaps, but closely copied from the magnificent design of the San Jose Electric Tower. While our tower is gone, victim of a brutal storm in 1915, inspiration lives on. We ask only that the source of Mr. Eiffel's inspiration be finally recognized, and that the Eiffel Tower is hereafter known as the J.J. Owen Tower. We will call two witnesses, eminent and respected architect who designed and built the half-size replica of the San Jose Electric Tower in Kelly Park. He will testify that he has seen all the great contemporary monuments that might have inspired Gustav Eiffel. The pyramids of Egypt, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Nelson's Column, Cleopatra's Needle. And only one, he will testify, could have inspired the Eiffel Tower, and that is the San Jose Electric Tower. We will also call a researcher who scoured the historical vaults of the world, tracking down musty documents in German. And while we will not be able to trace the fingerprints and the footprints of Mr. Eiffel on these documents, we will produce circumstantial evidence that is just as persuasive. We will show he read accounts of, saw pictures of the San Jose Electric Tower. We will prove he sent a delegation from Paris to actually come to the city of San Jose and study our electric tower. Indeed, we will present evidence that he himself may have sneaked into the city of San Jose, but not under cover of darkness, since San Jose was the city with perennial light. For 35 years, Your Honor, the San Jose Electric Tower has inspired dozens of poets and artists, but perhaps none achieved the literary height W.D. Stocking. And this immortal poem of the San Jose Electric Tower was dedicated in this year.
Was this in the Herald, too?
This was in the Mercury. Light of other days is fading fast away. clearer, softer, brighter rays adorn fair San Jose. Dark 200 feet of color, all graceful to the sky. About twice 12,000 candles of color shine down on one ground. Stands a king, majestic, grand, with coronet of flame, a monument of brain and hand. Decked with name. Built donkeys, seats, and eat-all, snort, or kick as towering men. Built gas they take for light and fluff. Oh, when? J.J. Owen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ullman. Mr. Doolan, do you have an opening statement?
Show that Mr. Owen visited the St. Louis expedition in 1880. There he first gaslight low to the street. Later in 1880, actual pilot of the tower. City of Wabash, Indiana, erected the same 24,000. Oregon, the same configuration. Tower on the top of their courthouse, the hill overlooking the Wabash River. These, they admit that the Eiffel Tower and the Roman site. Acknowledge that Eiffel did not conceive the concept of a tower. That was first brought up by Richard Trevithick, England, in 1833. He was to make it of cast iron. Take some paper in 10 minutes. But in Philadelphia, in 1974, there was a design also found in the tower, also cast iron. Local buildings were designed with cast iron, the same materials on which the Eiffel Tower. Those ideas were abandoned because of the practical could have fallen. We will have more rock water. Justified for the genesis of the idea. The French Republic was interested in having a monument for their effort. You will also hear testimony from Lisa myself himself. In fact, before, and even the German language, I saw that in fact built towers similar to the San Jose Tower of the same height as the river, their river. Also in the course of which I saw was the preeminent engineer. He has created here is a bridge to the stars. But equal is that he explains there are many testimonies. First, they truly
Thank you, Mr. Dillon. Mr. Ullman, you may proceed. Mr. Protus, if you'd step forward, the clerk will swear you in.
Right, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. My name is Pierre Protus.
Occupation?
I'm an architect practicing in the city of San Jose.
Did you describe your training to be an architect?
Yes, I graduated from the University of California at Berkeley. I also studied at Stanford and UCLA.
You've been in practice right here in San Jose since 1969?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I understand you designed a number of historic and notable structures in San Jose, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Tell us some of the famous structures in San Jose that you designed.
Well, one of the largest things that we designed was a 9-story office building on called the St. James Building on 3rd Street. Probably the smallest thing we did was a pigeon loft for what was it was for Marcel Pochet. We also designed the shoe shine stand at the airport. That's another small job.
And can those three structures be be distinguished by a layperson? Could you tell which was the loft and which was the apartment building without?
The incrustation on the shoe shine stand does not match that at the pigeon loft.
Thank you.
And I understand that despite intervening earthquakes, all of these structures are still standing.
Absolutely.
And did I understand the witness to say those are the three structures that he's responsible for since 1969?
We could go into...
There are others. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Protus, are you familiar with the design of the San Jose Electric Tower that stood at the corner of Santa Clara and Market Street from 1881 to 1915?
I'm familiar with the design and what I read in papers and the pictures I've seen, yes.
You weren't around in 1915?
No, I wasn't.
Now, you became familiar with this design for a particular purpose, is that correct?
That's right. We were requested to make a design half the scale of the electric tower and to have this constructed in the historic Kelly Park, which was accomplished.
All right, and under your supervision, then plans were drawn up for a half-size replica of the tower?
That is correct.
And that tower was successfully constructed on the site of
That is correct. We made some minor modifications to add the bracing that was eliminated for cost reasons, and therefore our tower is still standing.
Please.
We have here what has been marked as Exhibit A, Mr. Protus. Do you recognize the plans contained in Exhibit A?
Yes, sir.
Are those, in fact, the plans and designs for the tower replica which were prepared under your supervision?
That is correct.
Now, could you, first of all, let's identify the Exhibit B. Is this an accurate depiction of the San Jose Electric Tower as it appears? Well, Your Honor,
The picture looks very accurate to me.
from the plans that you worked with in designing production.
Well, this is the Pinelli courtroom, so we'll overrule the objection.
All right, and we have here just marked Exhibit C, a depiction of the tower lit up, flags flying, probably 4th of July. Is that an accurate depiction of the design of the tower?
I hope so, because the one that we designed half-scale looks very similar to that.
Now, could you describe the unique nature of this tower from an architectural standpoint?
Well, one of the reasons the tower was constructed was to get light way up in the air to light the streets, and one of the ways the new emerging technology showed that in order to get up that height, steel was a new material that was being used in pipe, and so by spanning one intersection, they could, in this pyramid form, get a light that cast no shadow and light up the entire intersection. And so by using the newest technology in a very practical and straightforward way, they designed this monumental sculpture, probably the only monumental or first of its kind monumental pyramid-type sculpture in the world.
Now, have you visited the Eiffel Tower in Paris?
Yes, sir.
Did you note any resemblance between the San Jose Electric Tower and the Eiffel Tower?
I
To refer to Exhibit D, that replicates Exhibit C, and then has a photo of the Eiffel Tower next to it. I assume it's situated next to that.
the one on the right is the Eiffel Tower. I'm sure all can see in my answer that it's a trace job.
You want to point out some of the features of the copying that went on?
I think you can all. I should show this to those who need to vote on it. It's obvious that the form is the same. One vote. There's a jury? No jury?
They waived.
Oh. Well, Your Honor, you can see that the forms are exactly the same, with the exception that the French have this kind of, French way of French curve to it, and it's, you can just see the similarity. I mean, structurally it's the same. They have the same arch at the base. The towers up to the top, and from detailed investigation of photographs, you can see the very top is extremely similar. The scale is different, of course, but you have to understand, in San Jose, our light tower is the biggest thing around. And to be even approaching that same scale, this tower in Paris had to be a whole lot bigger.
In your opinion, then, the basic design of the two towers is the same?
Oh, it's a trace job, I said that.
And have you had occasion to visit the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
Yes. That's in Italy.
Yes. Could you offer any speculation as to how the Eiffel Tower might have looked if it had been inspired by the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
That's a very interesting question. In fact, you know that when they were proposing designs for this, for the exposition, there were many submittals. In fact, one of the submittals was what I think to be almost a direct replica of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and that was done by, I think it was Beauvais, Monsieur Beauvais. And yes, I do. And the design for this tower was conceived as a light tower, of course, with a 300,000 lumens or something, but it's, you see how much it looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa? Of course, this was vertical.
I take it this is an offer of speculation, is that right?
Well, Your Honor, we're attempting to prove that of all of the famous monuments in the world at the time, Eiffel's design could only come from the San Jose Electric. It did not come from the Leaning Tower of Pisa, especially from the process of the pioneers that his person created. This thing is very hard. At this point, also
That's a compound objection, and as such is overruled.
You have studied the Leaning Tower of Pisa, have you not?
Yes, sir.
So you could avoid
Absolutely. We studied the light tower and did things to remedy its problems also.
Trace job again?
Oh, yeah, we used the photographic reduction method. They didn't have that in 1889 when Eiffel traced the other one.
And you've had occasion to examine photographs of the pyramids of Egypt and Cleopatra's Needle and Nelson's column across the square.
Yes, I have.
All right. And in your opinion, could the Eiffel Tower have been inspired by any of those?
Well, you can see if it were the pyramids, this thing would be really squat and would probably go over about 4 or 5 different blocks in Paris and really work. If it was like the Trafalgar Square, it would have horses about 50 feet high, and, you know, and if it was, you know, like the obelisk, it would, you know, be like the Washington Monument, be a long, thin needle, and a lot of these designs that were rejected, you know, look just like that. The Eiffel Tower looks like none of those things. It looks like only one major monument that was a civic monument at the time, and that was the Light Tower in San Jose, and there's no question that that was a very famous, internationally known piece of architecture and civic sculpture.
Goodland?
Prodis. Yes, sir. Pipe. Pipe. It was a gas pipe. I don't know if that was... I don't know if it was cast iron. No. I read it was made out of gas pipe. I don't know. I thought I said that. You mean now? Like nothing I know of. I wasn't there. I think that was the first thing, the first civic, large, triangular, what do you want, a Christmas tree? What would you like? What did you say before? Hat? It could be, if that's what they look like. No, but it's a big triangular shape, a big light on the top, a little plain looking, rather practical. No, I was not aware of that. Of course, but I didn't go into Owens where he went. No. No. It's an expression that we use in the trade for copying something. Well, you've left one out, which is probably more important than anything, and that's the inspiration and the idea. And you can't go and look at a tower 200 feet in the air or see pictures of a tower 200 feet in the air in almost the exact same shape that you create 10 years later and say that that wasn't inspired by that form. That form was a direct inspiration for this, for the Eiffel Tower. This line of questioning pursued to its ultimate could be very confusing.
I'd remind you again, you're in the Pinelli courtroom where rules of evidence don't apply. The objection's overruled.
You know, that's really a dumb question, but no, I wasn't. Not then either. I wasn't born yet, Counselor. No, I can't. No, I wasn't there. I don't know where he went. I think your question was this copied from, or was it a trace job? And I'm giving you the reasons why I think it could be. Because anyone who has seen the picture of the light tower or visited it would have been inspired by that particular monument. No, I wouldn't have any idea on that. That's not my area of expertise, sir.
Mr. Dillon, Mr. Ullman, your next witness. Thank you. Mr. Proteus, you may step down. Yanov, you step forward.
Raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. You can be seated.
Did you engage in some historical research regarding the San Jose Electric Tower?
Yes, I did.
Prior to qualifications to conduct this research?
Well, to conduct this research, I'd like to say that I am an expert in research. I've been born and raised in this area, and as far back as I can remember, I've been inquiring into the historical area of Santa Clara County and San Jose. I've done research on the gold mines, the mining industry, the lumber industry, the influence of the Mexican culture here in San Jose, the demographics of this area. I have attended San Jose State University and worked with a history professor there that gave me extensive historical training. And I'm attending now Santa Clara School of Law, where I'm able to do extensive legal research, which includes research into many different areas.
Scholars at Santa Clara Law?
Yes, world-renowned scholars.
Name one.
He would be Dean Ullman.
We're back to tracing, is that it?
Where was your research conducted?
I conducted my research for this project here at Santa Clara's Oradre Library, the Santa Clara City Library, the San Jose Public Library, San Jose State Library, with the librarians at all these libraries, with the San Jose Mercury News archives and researchers. I spoke to authors of papers who wrote papers on subject material included in this litigation.
Okay. Now, do you locate any contemporary accounts of the building and dedication of the San Jose Electric Tower?
Yes, I did.
You refer to Exhibit J. Tell us what that represents.
Exhibit J, Your Honor, is a copy of the front page of the San Jose Mercury dated December 25, 1881. This was about 13 days after the electric tower was dedicated.
Did you find reference in Exhibit J indicating that this was a widely noted event that attracted attention elsewhere in the Western San Diego sector? Your Honor, this obviously comes with one document exception.
Well, as I understand it, it took the Mercury News 13 days to figure out the tower was up, and you want this witness to tell us whether or not the world knew about it. Is that it?
This was a reprint, Your Honor, for the Sunday
What the
edition.
Mercury News is recounting in this wonderful dedication issue are press reports from all over the country noting the dedication.
Well, we'll admit it subject to a later motion to strike.
All right. Mr. Piano, do you find in Exhibit J references to press notice of the tower from throughout the United States?
Yes, I do. I can find several references.
Dean Ullman, it's not only your witness, it's your...
I happened to bring my evidence a little with me, anticipating that this objection would be raised. Section 1320 of the evidence code allows reputation concerning community history. Section 1341 allows publications concerning facts of general notoriety and interest in historical work.
The objection's overruled.
What notice did you find on San Jose recognizing the importance of this event?
I can tell you there are several references here from beyond the San Jose area, including the San Diego Union, the Santa Barbara Press, the San Francisco Call, the Stockton Independent, the LA Times, the Los Angeles Finer, the Hollister Daily, Vanity Fair, Harper's Weekly, it goes on.
Harper's Weekly?
Yes, that's correct.
National Press.
National Press.
Now, in all of the historical documents that you examined, do you find any reference to visit to San Jose to examine the tower by a French commission?
Yes, I did. I found repetitive reference to a commission of the Eiffel Tower that came to San Jose specifically to look at the San Jose Electric Tower prior to construction of the Eiffel Tower.
All right. I'm going to hand you Exhibit K. Could you tell us what K represents?
Exhibit K is a brochure written on the electric light tower, written by Linda Larson. This was obtained from the San Jose Historical Museum.
So this is the official history of the San Jose Electric Tower?
Yes, it is. It contains a
You could refer to page 15 of that document.
page 15. States on the upper right-hand paragraph, would you like me to read it? Even a delegation from Paris came to visit the structure, referring to the San Jose Electric Tower, prior to the building of the Eiffel Tower. In parentheses, the Eiffel Tower was built in 1889.
All right. Did you find such references in any other personal reports that you examined?
Yes, I did. Not only did I find it in various Mercury News citations, but I also found it in this another paper, Exhibit L. This is a paper on the San Jose Electric Light Tower, written by Diane Durbeck.
What we're attempting to prove is general reputation in the community that this visit did occur, which in itself is admissible as evidence to prove the historical event.
Just like the Noriega doctrine, I take it. The objection is overruled.
Okay. If you could refer to page 17 of Exhibit L, do you again find a reference to this visit?
Yes, page 17 states, even a Parisian delegation examined the tower prior to the construction of the Eiffel Tower.
All right. Now, did you find evidence in your research that the San Jose Electric Tower achieved any measure of international recognition?
Oh, yes, I did. There were references that the electric tower was well known throughout the world. One example of that, someone in Germany wrote a letter to a bartender, but didn't know the address. He knew he was in San Jose, and he merely addressed the envelope to the name of the bartender, and then under that name put, to the city with the tower. The letter was delivered here to San Jose, to its rightful owner.
So that letter was not delivered to Akron, Ohio, or Wabash, Indiana?
No, it wasn't.
It was delivered to San Jose.
San Jose, California. Yes.
Now, did you become aware of any publications appearing in France prior to the Eiffel Tower describe the San Jose Electric Tower?
Yes, I did. There was a journal published in France entitled La Lumière des Electriques Journal.
Okay. That is Exhibit M, La Lumière
Exhibit
Electrique.
M.
When was that published?
This was published in the year of 1882.
Does that document contain any representation of the San Jose Electric Tower?
This document contains a two-page description of the San Jose Electric Tower and a photograph of the San Jose Electric Tower, or a sketching.
A trace job.
All right. That is a artist's drawing of the tower?
Yes, it is.
And you said there's a two-page description. Is that in French?
Yes, there is a two-page description, one page, 2 columns, in French, and we have an English translation.
The English translation is attached to that?
Yes, it is.
At the time that the San Jose Electric Tower was built, did you discover that any of the leading citizens of San Jose were of French extraction?
Yes, I did. For example, Pedro de Sassé was the French vice consul. He was a French immigrant, and he resided here in San Jose. He was one of the prominent movers of the San Jose Electric Tower, and he put a lot of effort to see that the tower was constructed and completed. In fact,
This information is actually included in Mr. Duce's obituary guide to the Santa Clara Mission Cemetery. Is that correct?
yes, it is.
And that guide is Exhibit N?
Yes, it is.
And,
I-
there's actually a picture of the San Jose Electric Tower accompanying Mr. Duce's biography.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I'd like to remind you this is not a child molest case. We do not have 2.5 years, and I'd ask you to move it along.
I'll move this along. Was there any evidence of the French community that was centered in San Jose?
Yes, there is. There was a very strong French community here in San Jose. In fact, there was a world-renowned hotel in downtown San Jose at the corner of San Pedro and Santa Clara, 1 block from Market Street. This hotel was called La Mole Hotel, named after its founder, Madame Veuve La Mole. She was from France, and this hotel was the central meeting place for the French groups here in San Jose and for French visitors who came to San Jose because it was well known and had excellent French cuisine. In fact, the chef, Alexis Gaston, was from New York's Delmonico's. And this restaurant even achieved international recognition even in 1908. I'll state for opposing counsel, the hotel was built in 1872. In 1908, when the great race from New York to Paris came to San Jose, the same great race that the movie is based on, starring Tony Curtis, all of the racers were housed inside La Hotel Mole, and Madame Mole fed these racers her fine French cuisine. In fact, even the French racing team wrote back to a local French group that for the first time in America, they had finally tasted fine French cuisine, all thanks to Madame Veuve La Mole.
And literally within the shadow of our electric tower, 1 block away, was a world-renowned French restaurant.
Yes, that's true.
Quite likely then that visitors to the United States would have seen the San Jose Electric.
I understand the entire case to be an offer of speculation. The objection's overruled.
Yes, it's true.
May step down. Do you want to cross-examine this witness? It's going to have to be a short piece of dynamite, that's all.
He calculated from that the savings that San Jose might have for electric light. Stated, and I quote, "Is this correct?" Yes, the water pipe supports the light centering of tropical altitude over the four corners of Priestman's our own invention. We freely tendered to the city.
Yes, that's,
Isn't it true that the only invention Mr. Owen made was to put the tower at the intersection of two streets?
no, I can't say that that's true.
Isn't it true that he dedicated it to the public by that statement in writing?
That would be unique in today's proceeding, and so the objection's overruled.
Does it appear, if you were a citizen at the time, did you feel that somehow you,
No, he erected the tower for the public, if that's what you're trying to say. In fact,
this was before it was erected, this was May 13, 1881,
that's correct.
and it was not erected until the fall of that year.
That's correct.
And it was behind schedule, is that correct?
I can't tell you that that's correct.
Well, you're a man who did the research on this, right? Isn't it also true that in June of 1881, an agent from the California Electric Company toured San Jose, and he proposed the tower? 12,000. Optimum height of 200 feet. And isn't that also in the article that you researched?
Do you have a cite to that?
The site was in the San Jose Electric Tower. It's by Diane Warbeck. It's on the page here. I apologize that I do not have the precise page number. But this is before this was correct. Did you research that?
Yes, I did.
You don't recall it?
I don't remember your question again.
Are you aware of the Acton Tower?
Yes, I am.
And isn't the Acton Tower before the San Jose Tower?
The Akron Tower went up at about the same time as the San Jose Tower, and J.J. Owen was in close communication at that time with the builders of that tower.
It had to be because he used the same electric lights, isn't that true?
No, the brush dynamo generator was created here by Mr. Brush,
No, it was created with Cincinnati
and it was patented, yes.
in Cincinnati. That's the light.
That's true, but regardless, the lights were on the tower.
Didn't Wabash set up their tower before San Jose?
I have no recollection of that.
Did you do research on
Picky. Now, Mr. Doolan, we're going to have to move this along. I think you've badgered this research attorney enough. Thank you. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Call your first witness.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Edward Lockjoy, Minister of Trade and Culture, the Third Republic of France from 1886 to 1890.
Remarkably well preserved. You may take the stand.
Raise your right hand. I'm sure to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. In English or French? Either. Good as you.
I think the previous witness forgot his papers.
Again, that's a unique experience in these proceedings. Okay.
Would you please state your name where you are from?
My name is Edouard Lecroix. I come from Paris, France.
Familiar with the Eiffel Tower?
Who isn't?
I would like to show you this first exhibit of ours and ask you if you recognize it.
Well, I don't quite know what the little lights are down here. They are very unfamiliar, but the monument is definitely the Eiffel Tower.
moment, I think I will put that up here, cover up this
Maybe you-
abomination.
Have you seen the Eiffel Tower?
Oh oui, bien sûr, of course.
And you testified that that is a faithful depiction of it.
Very faithful indeed.
So what period of time were you Minister of Trade and Commerce?
1886 to 1890.
Minister of Trade and Commerce, how were you involved with the construction of the Eiffel Tower?
Very simple. Mr. Eiffel came to see me and he convinced me to build the tower. Actually, we of the Third Republic of France were absolutely convinced that our industrial genius was above all of other nations, including this one. I'm sorry, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen. And we decided to erect a monument to this genius of ours.
Tell the report from your own words how the Eiffel Tower came to be built, focusing on some of the history and period of 1850 to 1890 when the Grand Exposition.
Well, of course, our feelings were hurt because in 1855, in 1851, the English built the Crystal Palace, which I'm sure everyone knows was a monumental structure. And we could not forgive them for that. So we had an idea to erect a tower, not at that time yet. However, there was another exhibit in London, 1862. Then there was an exhibit in Vienna, 1873. And then we held our own exhibit in 1878, and it wasn't too successful, I must say. So in 1889, which was the centennial of our revolution, we decided that we should erect a monument that would really strike the imagination of the world. And Mr. Eiffel came to see me and said, I think we can do it. We can erect a tower that would be 1,000 feet high. I said, impossible. And he said, impossible n'est pas français. Oh, yes, he had. The English, again, what can I say? 1833, I think Mr. Trevithick, is that the accurate name? I can't pronounce English names at all. Anyway, the concept originated with that gentleman, and I know that he was quite incapable of erecting the tower himself, while the British, of course, wouldn't be able to do that. So, when Mr. Eiffel consulted with me, I knew that he could do it for two very simple reasons. He had built two extremely impressive bridges, one in Garabie, which is in France. It is a bridge that spans the river Tuyère, and it is one of the most impressive structures in southern France, and another one in Portugal, Oporto. And if you look at those structures, I think we have reproductions of those structures, you will see that they were the inspiration, and not this foolish thing that I have seen, were the inspiration for our tower. Oh, sure. Mr. Eiffel was called le magicien du fer, the magician of steel. It was made of steel. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm no engineer myself.
Slick lawyering, Dulin, slick lawyering.
Mm-hmm.
Did you consider a number of things for this monument for the Paris Exposition of 1889?
Many designs. It was a headache, actually.
Take a look at the exhibit that we have there. Can you point out which of these was the Eiffel Tower?
Sure, I can. Shall I do it now?
Yes.
Right here. Maybe you should show the
I have it.
gentleman who seems to decide of everything.
And I noticed that any of these had some sort of tower there. As I see it, there is a line just above that, very much like the San Jose Tower.
Oh, the clown hat, you mean?
Yes, the crown.
Sure.
Above that in fact was by your ministry and rejected. Is that
Totally reject. Oh, phew.
I'd like you to look at exhibit number 2.
Yes.
Exhibit number 2, would you please explain what that is?
Well, it's the tower itself, Mr. Eiffel's tower.
And this is the tower as it was in fact presented to your commission.
Absolutely correct.
And do you know who was the original designer of the tower?
Yes. The original designers of the tower, there were two designers, Mr. Koechlin and Mr. Nouguier. They both belong to Mr. Eiffel's engineering firm, as you will confirm, Mr. Eiffel.
And so they were employees of his firm, and you know the approximate time when they made that design.
Well, I am not quite sure now, because Gustave, you didn't tell me, did you? Did you tell me? I forgot, I'm sorry. But I think it was in 1886 that they presented you with the drawing.
When did construction start?
In 1886. I was convinced, and they started construction right away.
And when was it completed?
In 1889, and then we opened the tower to the public. Oh, are you kidding?
Was the purpose of the tower to light the city of Paris?
No, in fact it wasn't. But I must say that there was a project by Mr. Bourdet that was a lighting tower. They wanted to light up Paris all night. And of course you know that Parisians like to sleep. And therefore we just rejected that project. It was absolutely not a light tower. Absolutely not.
Did it in fact later have lights?
Yes, it did. Later on it did. But not in 1889.
Exhibit 5?
Exhibit 5, you say? Hmm?
All 5.
Yes.
And does that depict then the Eiffel Tower with all of the various other monuments of the world?
Yes, it does.
It is not monumentally taller than all the other monuments of the world at the time.
Oh, yes, well, of course.
Do you know the height of the next tallest monument at the time?
I think it was twice as tall as the next tallest monument.
That was the Washington Monument at...
555 feet, yes, you are correct.
Washington Monument made of iron.
Masonry, masonry indeed.
Your knowledge of the Eiffel is 78 copies of the San Jose design.
I must smile at this question. I mean, of course not.
In your opinion, is it a trace job?
Trace job? What does that mean? I'm sorry?
I think you answered the question. Any time between 1881 through 1889 is
Well, I myself did not know where San Jose was. Maybe someone took a trip there, but not that I'm aware of, no.
Bellman Cross?
I'm sorry.
Now, you indicated that the tower was a monument to the genius of France, superior to that of all of the time.
Absolutely superior, yes.
Now, at about the time the Eiffel Tower was being built, was there not an attempt being made by the French out to Panama?
Oh, that is a very vicious question.
That attempt failed, did it not?
Ah, je ne peux pas y croire. No, it did not fail. It did not fail. That is simply untrue.
It succeeded when it was taken over by American know-how.
I am outraged.
Now, you indicate that the real designers of the Eiffel Tower were Messrs. Nouguier and Kuchlan?
Yes, correct. Although you don't pronounce it right, but you're right. Kuchlan and Mugier.
And Mugier.
That's better.
Can you tell me why the tower was not called the Kuchlan-Mugier Tower?
Are we into this trace thing again? It was not called that way because they were employees of Mr. Eiffel's firm. And as Gustave will tell you later on, he gave them credit for the design, but he implemented the design. And therefore, why should it be called Mugier and Kuchlan Tower? Plus, that's very difficult to pronounce. Isn't it easier to say Eiffel?
While he gave credit to Mr. Kuchlan and Mr. Mugier, he did not give credit to J.J. Owen. did he?
Who is J.J. Owen?
Well, sir, you have repeatedly referred to the San Jose Electric Tower as a clown tower, is that correct?
Oh, no, that was our lawyer here.
Well, were you aware of the Eiffel Tower ever being known as the Clown's Tower?
No, I'm sorry, I wasn't.
If I could present you with Exhibit E, containing an illustration entitled Two Clowns Juggling with Eiffel Towers, dated 1887.
That must be the British again.
Does the illustration indicate where it appears?
You mean the presentation itself, or
The picture of two clowns juggling with the Eiffel Tower.
watercolor, Musée d'Orsay, Eiffel collection? It doesn't say where it first appeared.
Indicate when it first appeared?
1887.
Okay, thank you.
Your next witness, he seems to be nodding over.
Raise your right hand.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Please, please be seated.
Alexander Gustave Eiffel. I live in La Castel, Dijon. Dijon. Yes, that is my home.
Are you familiar with the so-called Eiffel Tower in Paris, France?
Well, of course, it is my tower.
For a number of years, did you in fact have an apartment at the top of the tower?
Oh, certainly, I lived there.
Could you please give us some of your personal background?
Yeah, I was born in Dijon in 1832, and I attended l'école polytechnique. I tried to attend there, but j'ai raté mon examen. Fortunately, but later on I attended the Architectural Institute. It was chemistry. What is the word? Major. Yes. Yes, my institute was the Polytechnic Institute, and my major area was the chemistry.
After your studies were completed, who did you go to work for?
I went to work first for the Nepveu firm.
They were a railway equipment company.
Railway equipment company.
You then switched to civil engineering, and by 1858 began to design your own bridges.
Definitely. By 1858, I was designing my own bridges.
And did you then create your own firm, engineering firm?
Yes, the Eiffel firm.
The Eiffel. Correct that the Eiffel Tower is really named after the Eiffel firm rather than yourself.
Oh, certainly, because it is a wonderful firm of many working people, many creative people.
They did have a great deal to do as a firm in the design and construction.
Yes, indeed. As has been testified to this court, Monsieur Noguier and Monsieur Cochlin, they have developed beautiful plans, for example. And Mr. Sauvestre, he also made the final touches to, for example, this tower.
You've seen the San Jose Light Tower?
The-
Physical
Oui.
cast iron pipe.
Yes, I saw these pictures. Is that it? This is a tower?
Did you ever visit the San Jose Light Tower?
I've been in San Jose.
Was it San Jose, California?
Oh, San Jose, Costa Rica, yes.
In connection with what?
The Panama, we were working in Panama and Costa Rica to make a canal.
Isn't it true that your design of the Panama Canal was executed by the Americans?
Oh, yes, indeed.
That's outside the pleading, so I think if we could move this witness along.
Do you understand that the San Jose Light Tower was made of cast iron piping?
Monsieur Dulin, this is incroyable. I understand that this tower was made of a cast iron pipe.
That's the proper material to make a tower.
Non, ce n'est pas un tour de tout. Il n'est pas possible. Je m'excuse. This material, this cast iron material, is so fragile. It will crystallize and break.
Isn't it true that you have a tower with reinforcements that are pushing against the tower constantly?
Oh, definitely.
Cast iron is not the proper material to resist those reinforcements.
Oh no, they know.
And isn't it true that steel is too flexible? Iron is just right.
Steel. The steel is very difficile because in the wind the tower will comment dit-on? Oscillate. In the wind the tower will oscillate, and the people in the tower will get the vertige from the oscillation.
I often get vertigo from oscillation. I would like to ask you if you had any experience with building floor. Thanks. Meeting at an apex, I call your attention to Exhibit E, 2, 3, and 4.
Un moment. Well, of course, see, these are photographs of for example, is 3 is Madeja Garabi,
Yes.
and
The photograph of your bridge at Porto in Portugal. Is there not a four-legged tower over on the right-hand side that supports the bridge?
oh, certainly, this is the four-legged tower which is necessary to create a tower supporting the bridge.
And you built that in 1876, is that correct?
Yes, 1876.
Exhibit E4. That is the bridge then that you testified to over the Garabet, or at Garabet, over here. And look at that, built in 1879.
Oui, je pense, 1879.
Isn't it true that the towers, all the towers are each over 200 feet high?
Oh, yes.
Now, so a Monsieur Bartholdi
Oui?
approached you in 1879 regarding a problem with a monument that he was building. What was that monument?
Je m'excuse. He approached me because there was a difficulty with the famous Statue of Liberty, which he was having difficulty building.
It now stands in Park Harbor.
Oh, of course.
And what was
It's
your
a-
involvement in that statue in 1880 and 1881?
Statue is very beautiful design, a very magnificent structure, all assembled of metal on the outside, but very heavy, very difficult metal, and they would not support this. They needed a structure with inside.
Create then a tower with a time. So the interior of the Statue of Liberty wasn't that a tower, four-legged tower.
Well, yes, it is very much a tower, and it is four-legged tower.
And in fact, it has a light at the top.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that the most brilliant light in the world, the light of liberty?
I think so.
You testified earlier that Monsieur Sylvestre, the architect at your firm, added some gewgaws to the design. Point you to Exhibit 1. Is there any resemblance to the Eiffel Tower? Would you take that abomination that over there? Is there any resemblance to the base of the top of your home?
Monsieur le Président, you see, this part here is so much like Le Castel, so much like. We make this to look beautiful at the bottom with this shape.
So the inspiration for the base then comes from your home, the Castel.
Oh, I think so. Monsieur Sylvestre, he was taking an interest in my home.
To the politics of your firm, isn't that true?
Oh, I think so.
And the remainder of the tower, what was the inspiration for the remainder of the tower?
Oh, I think it's rather like the champagne cork. This is a bridge from Paris into the heavens. Just like that.
A champagne bottle with the very top being exactly like the cork of a champagne bottle. Is that your
Oh, I would think so.
And,
But I have not designed any pigeon houses.
Kitty,
I am so sorry.
you will be.
I will be designing the pigeon houses, yes.
In the sky. Hey, you have no further chance either. Gentlemen?
Mr. Monsieur Eiffel, as a practicing engineer, I take it you stay abreast of the latest developments.
Ah,
in engineering.
yes.
And you subscribe to all of the leading journals published in France regarding advancements in engineering science?
We do mostly our own work.
You are not a regular subscriber to scientific journals?
Mostly the firm is engineering, and I'm sure my people read the journals. But we design the grand building, Garabit, the tower. These are mostly about our concern.
And your people would be regular readers in La Lumière Electrique, would they not? Are you familiar with the journal La Lumière Électrique, published in Paris?
I would think so. My people that work in the electric would know better than I. They turn the lights on.
Work in electric, involved in the design of the Eiffel Tower?
Not so much, because the Eiffel Tower is a great tower to go up, but it does not concern itself with the lights.
Saw any electric elevators in that tower?
Mostly for the elevators, but not for the lights. Lights are different than elevators.
Sir, I just have one final question.
I think the witness is showing his age, and if you could move it along.
Monsieur Eiffel, have you ever been convicted of a felony?
Oh, no.
Are you not the same Alexander Gustav Eiffel who on February 9th, 1893, was convicted by a court of appeal in Paris of misusing funds entrusted to you for the construction of the Cannon Dam?
I think this was a great mistake.
And included in that mistake was a sentence by the court that you spend 2 years in prison and pay a fine of 20,000 francs. Is that correct?
These are all just the matters of difficulties financier in such a big project. You would understand that, I'm sure.
Very quickly.
Is it true, Mr. Eiffel, that you were totally exonerated and the sentence of the court of appeals was overturned subsequently? Indeed, there was a protest over that, and 12 members of the prestigious Legion of Honor, both the president and the whole matter was
It's such a trifle, it's so silly.
happened after the matter, isn't that true?
It doesn't really make any difference. It doesn't happen at all. It's a silly thing.
Into oblivion. Is the cause submitted, or do you wish to argue?
Very brief argument. This case can only be described as incident. 100 years, Mr. Eiffel has claimed all the credit, all the glory for an idea that began in the humble city of San Jose. Just as he robbed the investors in the earliest attempts to build the Panama Canal, he robbed J.J. Owens of the fame he so richly deserved. We have presented indisputable evidence of this theft. Are the eminent architect?
Why didn't you call him? Oh, you...
Mr. Protus has examined all of the famous monuments of the world, and he says only one could have inspired the Eiffel Tower of Paris, and that is the San Jose Eiffel Tower. We produced La Lumière Électrique, and I ask you to examine that journal closely, because it gives a precise account of how the San Jose Electric Tower was built. It even relates the experience of travelers coming back from San Jose to Paris and quotes them on how satisfied the people of San Jose were with their electric tower.
It was awe-inspiring. It was awe-inspiring to listen to that.
Oh, it was. And for 35 years, Your Honor, the social life of San Jose literally revolved around this electric tower. On the 4th of July, fireworks were set off from its top. At Christmas, it was illuminated with colored lights. At Thanksgiving, many of the fowls that graced the tables of San Jose were migratory birds who collided with the Every Christmas Eve, the leader of the municipal band would climb to the top of the tower and play taps. And at the foot of the tower saloon served refreshments, and patrons of the tower saloon were observed late at night engaged in trapeze acrobatics. Today, the tower is gone, but the towering skyscrapers of Pierre Protus allow us some idea of the vista that was available from the top of the tower. And we can be proud that it is every bit as beautiful as the vista from the top of the Eiffel Tower. We should also insist that full credit given to the true originator of this magnificent idea, Mr. J.J. Owens. Your Honor, I can assure you For the ruling that the Eiffel Tower shall hereafter be known as the J.J. Owen Tower will itself stand as a monument to truth and justice in the city of San Jose. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ullman. Mr. Doolan to close.
Who was interested. Third of high towers versus low towers. The exhibition of St. Louis in 1880, and then the third of the Russian electric light. Similar towers. Fun. The representative of the assessor of Pacific Gas and Electric came to him in the middle of the fun saying, why don't you put up the towers today? That's the Kansas idea. On doing that, Mr. Eiffel did not use his tower. The inspiration. Concept of a 1,000-meter tower. No one could build since 1833. Monsieur Eiffel was the genius. Only his genius could make it. But they originated in his firm, like the rest. Made by Monsieur Michelet. They were the original designers, Mr. Sylvestre. Into the monument.
That's really the core of your case, if I understand it.
Sending to the sky, pointing face to San Jose,
The court would like to thank Mr. Doolan and Mr. Ullman for presenting, I think I could say for the California judiciary, one of their better cases for each of them. I think you kept up your respective reputations by in the courtroom without dealing with law and without dealing with any sufficient facts. But I want to thank you for that. The matter is submitted to the court, and as the court understands it, after listening to most of these non-credible witnesses, the case really boils down to a situation where two creative individuals, thousands of miles apart, had basically the same idea, even though those ideas were brought to fruition some years apart. Basically, the idea was, as I understand it, to raise towers that would run more or less perpendicular to the ground, or in the engineering profession, that's known as a vertical. That being so, this case falls under the doctrine that the lawyers and the law professors in the audience will know as the simultaneous inspiration doctrine. And here in California, particularly in San Jose, we take advantage of an offshoot of that doctrine, which is known as the inspiration, however slight, will be sufficient. That being so, it then falls under a part of property law, which is known as joint tenancy, and that means that both Mr. Eiffel and Mr. Owen own both of these towers, more or less as a copyright, as joint tenants. However, under the law of joint tenancy, when one of the joint tenants expires, the law calls that termination, or as that law is applied to architecture when one of the erections disappears. In this case, in 1915, I believe, a storm knocked down Mr. Owen's structure. The joint tenancy itself terminated, and any ownership rights that San Jose or the Owens family would have in the Eiffel Tower, or vice versa, terminated at that very instant. So the city of Paris, France, may still, under the ruling of this court, call the Eiffel Tower its own, and the city of San Jose may still call that portion of land on which the Owens Tower existed the Owens Tower land. The only people in San Jose, if there are any, who have any continuing ownership interest in the Eiffel Tower under the joint tenancy doctrine, however, are under these various doctrines this court has tried to describe, do have the right when visiting Paris, France, and going up in the Eiffel Tower to the second or third elevation to say to themselves, this is ours. This court is adjourned. Thank you very much.